Today we're going to check out a blues rhythm variation based on Pride and Joy by Stevie Vaughan. Now it's not the exact transcription of how he plays it, but it's heavily based. I would say it's about 90% of the way there. There's a few little tricky things that he does that I want to simplify. It's really, really nuanced, but we'll get into that in a second. So we're going to be in the key of E. There's a backing track that I played to available on my Patreon as well as the tabs, but let's get into it. Let's look at the bass pattern and let's identify the intervals there. So we start on the root note, which is E, go to the major third. Now I'm sliding into the major third from 1 fret below. So from the minor third to the major third. Hitting the perfect fifth, then the major sixth, and then the root note, an octave above, and then back to that minor third, major third slide, fifth, and then we do a little chordal thing, which we'll check out in a sec, but I just want to make sure we know that this is a major blues and it's important to identify those intervals. So we are sliding into the major third, and we are also hitting the major sixth, which gives it a real major blues sound. That kind of vibe, right? So that's the fifth to the sixth. I think that's important to know in case we want to transpose it. You know what I mean? I'm just thinking of the intervals rather than fret numbers and confusing myself that way. So in Pride and Joy, he actually does a little bit more of a complex pattern. I've simplified it, but I'll show you what he does. So he plays the same notes in the bass figure, but he hangs on that minor third a little bit longer, right? He goes like this. It's a little bit challenging to get that slide with the upstroke in on the offbeat. So I've simplified it and I've just gone. Right, so in between all of those notes that we play, we're going to do a little upstroke. And remember, it is a shuffle beat, so that upstroke is later than the regular sort of quaver. You could think about it as a triplet pattern. So in between every one of those bass notes or that rhythm figure, I've got an upstroke. And it's just on the open strings, super easy. Once we hit that perfect fifth, we're going to hit 2nd fret of the D, G, B, and E strings, and then go to an E chord. And I actually do like a upstroke on the open string and then come with a downstroke on the E major chord. That's important. So this is the whole sequence with E. Now we're going to the A. It's the exact same thing, except we go up to the higher set of strings. So we go up 1 set of strings higher and play the exact same thing from the A chord. Same intervals based on the A note. So the root note, the major third with the slide below, the fifth, the sixth, and the root note. Right? So, and he keeps that upstroke on the open E and B strings happening. By he, I mean Stevie Ray Vaughan. So this is what we've got so far from the E. Back to the E. Now this is where we go to the 5 chord, the B7. There's a whole bunch of variations which I'll go through. However, I want to keep the same pattern for now. What we're doing, we're going from the B note, and I'm putting an upstroke in between all of these notes. Same exact intervals. Got root note, can do a little minor third to major third slide, the fifth, the sixth, right? You've probably done this before, and then we go from the A, major third, sliding into it, the 5th, the 6th. Now we've got 2 bars left. I'll show you what Stevie Ray Vaughan does in a second, but I want to keep it simple. I've hit the low E, and then I'm going to slide into the perfect 5th and the flat 7 of E, and then I'm plucking that open E string. It sounds really cool. You've probably heard that before. It's a cool little move. So we've got... So we're hitting triplets on that 5th flat 7 and open E string. Then I'm sliding back into the perfect 4th of E, pulling off to the open G, which is the minor third, and then landing on root note. Classic blues lick. So we've got this so far. And this is where a cool little move comes in. We've got a C9 chord. I'll put that up on the screen. We've got 3, which is our C note, 3 on the A string, 2nd fret D, which is our major third of C, the flat 7 of C, and then this is the 9. This is why it's called a 9 chord. It's a C9, kind of like a funky chord, you know. And then we go down to a B9. It's a classic blues thing, right? Really, really effective. Quite simple once you get your fingers under it. Just note that that's like minor pentatonic, right? And then that C9 sounds really cool, leading chromatically into the 5 chord. So let's look at a variation on the last 2 bars, so you might have some variety in there. We're going to get rid of the C9. All we're going to do is this. The same thing for that E that we did before. Check this out, a little walk up. It's not the technical term, but it's what I call it. A walk up to the B7. Check it out. So we go E, G, A sharp or B flat, and then we land on the B7 chord. Or you could play a B9 actually. Sounds cool, right? So that whole variation, the last 2 bars varied, is this. So far you've got 2 variations on the end. Let's look at a third one. This is the one that he plays in Pride and Joy. Actually the last 4 bars of the 12-bar blues. Got a similar approach to what we did before, where we're playing this shape, this perfect 5th and flat 7, but he's sliding 2 frets below into that perfect 5th. So from the 4th to the 5th. Going back down, open G, and then the root note. So it's basically the same thing what we had before. And then we're going to go to the open A and hammer onto the 2nd fret and then pluck it again. Right? And then we're at the 4 chord, the A, so we're hitting the perfect 4 of A, then the blues note of A, and then the 5th of A. And then we're going to go A, B, and then B flat. Right? And then we're going to go open A, hammer onto the blues note of E, and then back. Landing on the minor third of E, which is G, and then hitting A, and then G again, and then E. And then we're going to finish on the E note. Nice and slow. It's tricky, guys, so there's a lot of information there. So if you need to slow it down, do that. So the ending of that part is the same as I think the 2nd variation where we went. So that sounds really cool. So that's the last 4 bars of the blues, the 12-bar blues with that Stevie Ray Pride and Joy vibe happening. I'll play through it once more. So hopefully you got something out of that, guys. If you want that backing track, it's available on my Patreon. It's really, really fun to play along to. You can spend endless amounts of time just going through those variations, just hanging around on that 12-bar blues. Thanks so much. I'll see you on the next one. Cheers.